people who make up their homes in the upper Wormwall Mountains are notoriously hardy folk. While most choose to live in small communities throughout the region, there are just some particularly wild individuals who survive in solitude. One such individual is well known throughout the area as Prospector Jebediah Old Jeb Stonesworth. Old Jeb's lived in the mountains for all these 73 years on Canaan. He knows the locations of countless hidden resources in the area. It's not unheard of for armies traveling through the upper Wormwall Mountains to hire myself, I mean old Jeb, to lead them to secret nooks and crannies containing valuable resources for their own army and their kingdom's coffers. Old Jeb's gotten a bit forgetful in his old age, however. Sometimes he'll lead an entire cohort of soldiers to an area where an enemy is already gathering resources, having been led there by old Jeb just days before.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of the Crossroads of Courage League, Season 1. We're going to be playing Scenario 2 with Old Jeb. And this is Old Jeb's cabin out in the outskirts of the mining places, with the mining entrance hidden underneath the mammoth. So I won the roll-off, so I went first and deployed first. My week's survey was cowards, and so I'm just going to do a little army overview. So I'm playing Kruger 1. I took some gallows with him to throw some chain lightnings around, or fork lightning as they're called now. What else is in here? We got ourselves a pureblood. We got a Lord of the Feast. A custom Lord of the Feast. We got the Wolves of Orboros, mostly for tar pitting, but I don't know how effective that's going to be. I got myself a Feral. A Wold Warden for also doing fork lightning. And my Skinwalkers in the back, hopefully to interrupt his cavalry dudes. And my usual shifting stones, which I like to do a lot of movement shenanigans. So, oh, and the Druid Wilder is not actually the Druid Wilder. I'm using her to represent Old Jeb.
Well, it wouldn't be a mammoth without the agonizer, so I put that agonizer in there for the 2 extra armor against melee. And the Soul Ward is also there to support the mammoth with guidance in case there were any smokes or stealth that I can see right through with the massive shots from the mammoth. Orin's in there to support the mammoth as well, because he nullifies any spell that would hit the mammoth directly, which is great. But he also clears chaff pretty well with the lightning spell, which is awesome. Again, to support the mammoth, I've got beast handlers that are hanging around outside. And the Gladiator works well on his own, but also gives rush to the army, the battle group basically, which gives the mammoth an incredible threat range, on top of Morgul's abuse. I've got a Cyclops Brute here that actually protects against shots with Shield Guard, also very good against Alton Ashley that would shoot into my mammoth and disable an aspect. Here are the Ferox, very quick, Pathfinder, incredible, and Mark III. They don't really get anything from Morgul except that they can clear chaff and threaten like crazy, so that's my army.
So this is Circle turn 1. I ran the Lord of the Feast up, hopefully surviving for next turn to try and get at some of his dudes. I don't think that's going to happen though. Feral, I ran up. I ran up the Wolves of Orboros. I tried to space them out enough to hopefully not take too much AoE damage next turn. I cast Skyborn on Kruger to move him into the forest and give him flight, and plus some more defense. I then cast Lightning Tendrils on the Feral to give him 2-inch reach. I moved old Jeb up and dug him in, and I'm keeping the bird with him to kind of give him something to keep him motivated and not run off. The shifting stones I shifted up behind the house here to kind of give me an option of moving something around. I ran up the Wold Warden. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with him yet until I guess next turn when the cats make their appearance. I'll decide. Ran up the Skinwalkers, and I shifted up the 2 Gallows Groves to kind of give me some spell options next turn.
Alright, so my plan basically was to kill this little guy, the Lord of the Feast, with shots that are drifting into him from the Mammoth. Didn't actually work. I got close though. I think he's got 2 health. Aside from that, Mammoth just moved up to threaten. I had given him guidance, of course, to be able to even shoot at stealth models and connect, but I was too far anyway, so it just ended up drifting. Orin walked up in stealth. Basically, Morgul rushed and abused the Mammoth, and then I healed that off with the Beast Handlers. The Agonizer moved up to be in position for his screams to have full effect. Gladiator was just handing out rush, and he moved up. Morgul is in the forest. No fury on him right now because I needed to get everything going. And the cats moved in to also threaten the main battlefield here. And that's my turn. Second turn.
So this is circle turn 2? Yeah, turn 2. Yes. So a lot happened this turn. So the first thing I did was I Raven shot the Mammoth, who he then teleported here and then killed Orin. He tried to kill the Beast Handler, but he rolled a 3 when he needed a 4. It was very sad. I then ran my Wolves of Orboros up to try and create a little bit of a sludge pit for everything else. He then did his counterblast and killed off one of my dudes. It was very sad. I shifted the Wold Warden over here and cast his Animus to put Wild Growth down, so it's a forest there. I moved old Jeb up, dug him in, and I'm keeping the bird with him to kind of have something around him to keep him occupied from wandering off. Pureblood just moved up. He didn't do anything. I was too scared to move closer because I'm not sure how Bulldoze and all those nutty shenanigans from his Mammoth are going to play out. Yes, Kruger moved a little bit too far outside of his control to use the Gallows Grove over here, so instead I just healed the Pureblood who got hit last turn and cast Skyborn on himself. On this side of the table, I ran up the Skinwalkers. I'm hoping to get in and occupy, or at least survive the turn against these cat things, and maybe do some damage. So, that's my turn.
Okay, so a pretty productive turn for me this time. I knew I had to get rid of all the jamming unit, so I used a combination of the Gladiator, the Cyclops, and the cats to finish off almost all of them. I think there's maybe, oh no, there are none left. Which wouldn't have been too bad if some of them remain because of Bulldoze. It's pretty useful on the Mammoth. But I knew that I had a crazy charge range, especially with Abuse and Rush, which gave him an 11-inch move and threat 13. Put me in range of one of his heavies, the heaviest hitter, so I could delete it. But it took a while. It was I used all my fury because defense 14 for the Mammoth is kind of hard. I tried to lay into this guy a little bit too, and it didn't work out because I missed him. All in all, a pretty good turn though. Over here I made sure to keep a cat over here to at least bother them, jam them a little bit. Morgul feated, so within 10 inches of them, beasts can't use fury. And the Agonizer ran up and used the gnawing pain to reduce strength by 2 within 8 inches. I don't know if that, I think that tags this guy, but the other stuff probably has free reign. And that's my turn.
So this is Turkle. This is Circle turn 3. A lot of bad things happened last turn, which didn't leave me with much. Morgul's feat crippled a lot of my ability to do things, so I kicked it off with the the Wold Warden taking some free strikes, backing up from the cats that were here, and chain lightning into the cats to kill one of them and damaging the other one really bad. The last leap went to the mammoth and did nothing. I then activated Kruger. I put Skyborn on him, and I moved him over to the corner of the house here, and then dropped his 3 AoE feet on Morgul. I did a bunch of damage to him, but he transferred 2 of the attacks, and unfortunately I will probably end up getting squished next turn. I then shifted Kruger over behind the house here to hopefully not get killed by caster kill, but it's looking like the mammoth is going to come in here and squish old Jeb, who ran, with also the bird who ran over here. Yes, he's not dug in because he ran. He was not able to do that. The skinwalkers killed another cat over here, and I didn't do much with this thing. I just shifted it up a little bit, and that's my turn, I think. Yes.
Alright, so his being devious with Circle has him bringing Jeb all the way around and bringing his skinwalkers over to the other side. So I had to challenge them with the Gladiator and the Cyclops. They're surprisingly still within Morgul's control. Took a good chunk out of the skinwalkers, with especially the Gladiator. Cyclops left that one hanging on 1 damage. This tree was phenomenal in its defense against a lot of my models, including a frenzied Agonizer. You'd think nothing could withstand that, but it did. On this side, the mammoth was given abuse and in turn destroyed the stone heavy. I was hoping to get a little bit more on this heavy here, but it just didn't work out even with bulldoze. So then the cats came in and they did as much as they could, which wasn't a lot in this case. But especially it was for jamming, especially Jeb over here, who will have to take a free strike if he wants to move out of that cat's range, as well as the bird. I angled them so that Kruger would have a hard time if he wants to shoot him. And that's pretty much my what I want to do with this turn.
So this is Circle, I think, turn 4. I was pretty hard pressed for everything, so thinking I didn't have much choice, I moved Kruger in to attack Morgul. I missed everything. I damaged him on my forked lightning, but it was too off from killing him, and then I was basically dead in the water. What I didn't realize was I could have just shifted my Gallows out of combat and then forked lightning to keep Kruger over behind the house. So it's looking likely that Kruger will be squished this turn, or maybe old Jeb. So over on this side, the mammoth came through and killed off my my dude. There were some cats in the way. I wanted to try and get the pure blood over here to spray Morgul for the last points of damage. So I trampled with the bird, killing the 1 cat that was there. I got a super lucky roll on that one. And then I moved the pure blood up and sprayed, failing to hit Morgul, but hitting Kruger as well. So I boosted my damage roll and did 11 damage to him because screw you, Kruger. Old Jeb was out of command range after he finished his thing, so I had to run him around the cat to get him in range of the pureblood. And the skinwalkers failed to do pretty much everything over here, and that's pretty much my turn.
Pretty simple turn. Basically, I really feel bad about being greedy and aggressive in the last turn and not having left any fury on Morgul. Put Morgul as parry, and so he just kind of whizzed around Kruger and started slashing his back. And since there was the boost from the spray, damage was already on Kruger, so Morgul didn't have to work too hard to finally inflict enough damage. And he put this Eagle Terrorist out of business. Nothing else really moved.
Hello everyone, welcome back. We're just going to chat a little bit about the actual game itself and how it went, and our top moment and the scenario itself. So we're going to go over our plans first, what we had initially planned, and then how it actually played out. So my initial setup over here, I was planning on running Old Jeb along the table edge, but I wasn't really planning for a mammoth with this list, or to face off against the mammoth in this list. So it threw me for a loop. That's why I started to backtrack Jeb, hoping to run around the side. I had hoped that the feral was going to be alive enough to be able to take out the colossal, coupled with the pureblood. Unfortunately, that did not work out, and Kruger dropping his feet on the caster is usually my go-to, giving I can boost all 3 hits on him and usually do enough damage beforehand to take him out. But with his shield guard on the brute, it made it hard to target him with channeling spells and stuff. So kind of threw me for a loop, and I didn't rush forward like I normally do with Circle, and it bit me in the ass in the end. I like to rush forward, get as far up the field as possible, and was not expecting Skorne with 20 movements and 13 movements all around the board. So so I don't know what your plans were.
Yeah, my plans were, I knew that Circle would have a hard time, especially with Morgul's feet compounded with a mammoth having so many boxes, as well as the Agonizer having the -2 strength. I tried to capitalize that on that, especially because you were the one that made the decision to put this on this side of the field, right?
Yeah.
So I basically ignored this left side.
Yeah.
And I knew the Skinwalkers were too slow to catch up and mean anything really until the very, very late game.
Yeah, I should have used them as frontline troops rather than...
Yeah, because jamming with the Skinwalkers would have hurt me here,
yeah.
Whereas the cats almost trivially removed the wolves.
Yeah.
So then I think that really worked out for me, pushing in here and destroying one of his heaviest hitters. The only problem I found was I didn't move Morgul up enough for the feet to really be all-encompassing on the mammoth. But it worked out okay. It forced him to do a few things, like move his beast out of the way.
Yeah, you got a few free strikes from it.
Yeah. And this is kind of my secondary battle group here. They really provide me with rush, as well as the Safeguard Animus and the Shield Guard. But then they committed finally when the Skinwalkers made their way around. My plan worked out. It wasn't really a plan of perfection, and I have to stop being so greedy with Morgul with 5 Fury, casting Abuse all over the place, and just be a lot more conservative, because I think the Mammoth kills most of what he gets in contact with, without the need of Abuse or anything like that.
Yeah, everything it's just one, like 2 shots, punk,
yeah,
and dead,
basically.
punk, dead.
And he has 5 Fury and 3 initials. It's just so much damage.
It's super potent. So your vote for the top moment of the game, I think we're both in agreement on this one, is when I got frustrated.
Yep.
And Pureblood sprayed the back of Kruger and boosted to try and kill him off, just so I wouldn't have to be killed by Morgul.
It was probably the funniest moment in any game I've ever played in the probably 100 and over games.
Yeah. So, what about the scenario itself?
I like the scenario because I'm so used to the steamroller scenarios, and nothing is active in those scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like Jeb walking around or having to do something as abstract as that. So I thought it was interesting, if not a little difficult on your part, to move Jeb like that.
Yeah,
Because wow, he's so vulnerable. He has dig in, but as soon as I get a cat on him, I could probably kill him, right?
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't have stealth. He has tough, but his abilities like dig in and stuff. I mean, unless you're blasting me, and it's not really going to provide much for me.
So it's really a hard scenario.
Yeah.
So you're almost have to resort to cast or kill, but at the same time, it's a breath of fresh air when you're playing steamroller after steamroller.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think that's everything for our report for this time. We're going to be doing week 3 with scenario 3 next weekend. I'll be facing off against Mac and probably his trolls, most likely. So hopefully you will tune in for that. And thanks for watching this one. I'm just going to take a little bit of this mammoth in. Through the trees, the mammoth screams. His screams. So menacing and so deadly. I wish I had.